Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Sajjad. I'm a computer engineer with 4 years of experience in Google Cloud. Now in this video, I just want to show you how to get certified on Google Cloud. The very first certification, maybe if you know about it, it is the Google Cloud Associate Engineering. So it is ACE as a name. So I just want to let you know how to get started, where to study, how to study, and how to respond to get your best out of the examination. So let's go and get started. Before we begin, I want to emphasize that this video is a part of my effort and desire to bring zero-cost information about computer engineering concepts to general public. So let's get started. Let's see what is it about. First of all, why do you want to study this certification, this very specific certification? The very first thing to just get this certification is about finding a job. If you're already in the computer engineering area, or if you're just new, you don't know anything about computer engineering and you want to get a job in the computer engineering area, it's a very good start. If you're a computer engineer, maybe you're looking for another job, maybe you want to change the area that you're working, maybe you are a programmer and you're looking for another job. So that's a very, very good starting point. The next one is the salary. Salary is a very interesting point. As my research show, if you are a cloud engineer, specifically if you are a Google Cloud engineer, so usually you are receiving more salary than other computer engineers or in general in IT. As you know, IT is already high paid. You usually receive good amount of money if you're working in IT. But if you're in the cloud, specifically in the Google Cloud, if you're working, so there are not too many people working in this area. Usually companies, what do? They just pay more. And it is a very, very interesting subject. You can just do your research. I can just show you some more information about it. Okay, for example, on this slide, you can see that if you're working as a cloud engineer somewhere in the United States, you receive 141,000 US dollars per year, which is a very, very good amount of money, I imagine. I'm not living in the United States. I don't know if it is a good amount of money or not, but just let me know in the comments if it is good. But yeah, let's go back to it. But on contrast, if you're working as a computer engineer in all the areas, in all the experience levels, you do receive 83,000 US dollars per year, which is a quite good amount of money, I think. But in compared to the cloud engineering one, yeah, it is really, really less than that. But if you are not in the United States, you might say that, okay, Sajjad, yeah, it's not my case. Maybe in my country, the wages are really, really lower than the United States. I would say that it is usually the case in all the countries. I live in Netherlands, for example. In Netherlands, it is the case again. The difference is not as huge as it is in the United States, but it is still a good difference. As you can see, for example, on this slide, Glassdoor again, in the Netherlands, if you're a cloud engineer here in the Netherlands, you receive 6,600 almost per month. If you want to add it up for the whole year, it is about 85K annually because you receive 8% of the travel package or travel allowance. So if you're in Netherlands and you're working somewhere in computer engineering, how much do you receive? You're receiving somewhere about 70K annually, 70,000 euros per year. It is still a very good amount of money, but you can see the difference. If you're in cloud engineering area, you can see that you're making 15K on average more than being a computer engineer. Still, you can see that the difference between other people in other areas, you can see that this amount of money is really higher than other areas, but still on cloud engineering, it is still more than this. So what else? What else can motivate you to go for this certification? Another one is job requirements. There are many different companies in the area who are working in the cloud engineering area or computer engineering consultancies usually. They require it for just getting a job. I can show you lots of different companies that they just put it in the job advertisement on LinkedIn, on Indeed, on many different websites that you can find a job. They just say that, hey, you should have this certification, or if you don't have this certification in the very first months, you should go and apply for this examination and just get the certification. It is very important to get this certification for many jobs that I've seen. The next part is expanding your knowledge. If you're working in this area, if you're working in computer engineering, for example, if you're a computer engineer, software engineer, it is a very good idea just to go for these kind of certifications. Not only this certification, but also AWS would be really helpful as well. But this certification, it gives you very good amount of information about how Google Cloud works. Why is that? If you're in a computer engineering area, so you know that many things are changing very rapidly. If you were been working with something 5 years ago, it is really different right now. Why is that good? The point is that all the big companies in the cloud like Amazon, AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, GCP, all of these companies are providing the very latest services to the public. So it means that if you're familiar with the concepts, you're familiar with other clouds as well. So you know the latest concepts on the cloud. So it is very good point just to expand your knowledge. Why to go for this certification? Well, one very major point is that if you're here, you're already familiar with the Google Cloud certifications. Maybe you're not, but I'm going to tell you. There are three majors in Google Cloud certifications. The very first one is associate certifications, which includes this very specific certification that we are talking about. It is Google Cloud Engineer. And there are professional certifications, which are like Google Cloud Architect or Cloud Developer, or many other more, like Machine Learning Engineer. What is the difference? The difference is that it is highly recommended to go first for the cloud engineer, associate cloud engineer first. So you get the information about the basics of the Google Cloud, how it works in general, and then you can go for very specific professional certifications. What other type of certifications are out there? There is another type of certification which is for the leaders. Usually it is not technical, so I did not include it here. But if you're a leader, you might go for that one. I just do not include it here just because it is not technical. It is not for computer engineers or people who want to work technically on the Google Cloud. The exam. So it is the most interesting part. So the exam itself is 2 hours. If you want to take the exam, you have to keep it in mind that you have to have 2 hours in your time. It is usually not in the weekends. Usually it is during the week, during the working hours. So maybe you want to have some time off from your work, so you can take this exam. And then how many questions are there in the exam? There are usually typically between 50 to 60. So you would maybe ask, why 50 to 60 different questions? Isn't it fixed for everyone? The number of questions are not fixed for everyone. If you have an examination, so basically the questions are assigned to you randomly. If you receive very easy questions, so on the amount of the time that you have, you can answer maybe 60 questions easily. So your questions would be more than normal 50 or 55 questions. But if you are assigned hard questions, so you do not have time to answer all of those hard questions in 2 hours. So it is very logical to receive less amount of questions in the limited time that you have. About the validity of the certification, it is valid for 3 years. Actually, it is updated last year in October, I think. It was valid only for 2 years in the past, but they decided to extend it to 3 years. I think it is logical because it doesn't change that much after 2 years. If you want to retake it, you can just retake it after 3 years just to renew your certification. And you should keep in mind that it will cost you $125. If you're like me in other countries, not in the US, you are going to pay 125 US dollars in your currency. How to prepare for the exam? That is a very good question. It is really important to study. I'm going to show you where to study or what to study, but I cannot emphasize how important it is to practice the exam. It is really important. If you want to pass the exam, you really have to practice it. The point is that this exam here is really technical, and you have to prepare yourself for the exam itself. But to be honest with you, it is not really enough to study. You have some information and the questions are about this information that it is inside your mind. But the point is that the exam itself needs a little bit of technique itself, because you have limited time. You have 50 to 60 different questions, and they are not usually easy. Many of them are quite hard, and you have limited time on that. So there should be a technique. You have to practice on that just to get how the technique of answering these questions work. But platforms to study. So the one that I really like the most is SkillBoost. SkillBoost is the official platform from Google itself. It is really, really good. You can receive information about the concept itself on the SkillBoost. You will receive somewhere to practice. You will receive some questions on this platform, and there are some PDFs that you can just load it on your mobile phone or tablet, whatever. You can read it whenever you want. All the other platforms that I brought here, like Coursera, Cloud Guru, Cloud Academy, all of them are really good as well. If you're more comfortable with those, you can go for them. To be honest, most of these platforms have free trial as well. For example, on Coursera, it is 1 week. I did not check it with others like Cloud Guru or Cloud Academy, but I totally think that they provide you with free trial. You can just try them. You see if you don't like them, you can go for another one. On the Skillboost, as I can remember, it is 1 month. You will receive by default 1 month of free trial. And on top of all of these, there is the official book from Google itself. I will put it in the description down below. Why a book is really good to study? Yeah, if you have spare time on the road, for example, if you take a train to the work, or if you have some time on the bus to the work, you can just read the book. There are many questions. You can just focus on the questions as well on the book. And it is very good information because it is official from Google itself. As you can see on this slide that I provided for you, I was thinking that what are important? Video, reading, lab, sample questions. These are the most important things that you might think of. Videos are just videos. They describe you the concept. It is really good. But reading, if you want to read it somewhere, if you want to have a PDF or just textbook just to read, it is good. Laboratory is a hands-on lab. All of these platforms I didn't know before, just I do a research for this video. I didn't know that all of the platforms provide you a lab, but for the skill boost, I have the experience. It is really good. It just provides you a lab. You just log in and do the lab. They provide you with the information what to do. For example, just to spin up a virtual machine, for example. Then this is the lab. I just checked with all of the other platforms. All of them provide you with a lab. It is really nice. And the length of the videos, as I checked, the length of the videos, most of them are more than enough. For skill boost itself, there are 505 different activities. I could not get the information about the length of the videos only, but there are all the activities. For example, the videos that you have to watch, readings, PDFs that you have to read. Most of the times you can just skip them as well. The labs that you have to do just to finish the courses, and also the sample questions that you have to answer. There are 505 different activities combining all of these. And I checked all of the platforms that I've included here. They provide you with all of these sample questions, labs, reading, and videos. If you find something somewhere else, just let's say that you can find another platform that provides you with all of these, it is good. If you feel that there is another platform that provides videos, labs, something to read, and also the sample questions, it is good. It is your choice. If you just see that it is better, go there. No difference. Just one thing to keep in mind is that the prices are quite different. For me, Skill Boost, it worked the best for me. It was $29 per month. But as you can see, others are quite the same price or even higher. So it is your choice. You can just go for them. Also, the book is good. I put the link in the description. You can find it there if you like to read the book. How to practice the exam? You have to keep in mind that you have 2 hours to answer all the questions, which are 50 to 60 questions. So let's say that you have only 2 minutes per question. It means that you have to read the question, you have to analyze it, and you have to choose the right answer. So believe me, it is not enough time. If you do not practice the exam, it is not really enough time. For the first time that you are going to practice it, you would see that, for example, you will receive 60 questions. Out of 60, you would answer 30 to 40, or maybe if you're good, 50 questions. You would say, okay, I need to work on time. After a couple of times that you practice it again, you will see that it improves. Just trust me. My suggestion is that to put 20 minutes just for reviewing your questions. Maybe there are some hard questions that you do not want to answer quickly. Note them somewhere that this question was too hard for me to answer. So you would answer it in your extra 20 minutes. In that case, it means that you have even less than 2 minutes per question. How to practice the questions? There are many good platforms online that you can search and find the questions. The very first one that I included here, I will put the link in the description as well. It is exam topics. On the exam topics, it is for free. You would see the sample questions, and some people just work on the questions as well. They write reviews on the questions. They write some comments on the questions. If you don't know how to answer the question, you can read the comments as well. Other platforms here like VizLab and Test Prep that I included here, they are not free. However, they have some free questions. They are very limited questions on VizLab and Test Prep both, but they are good resources. If you're willing to pay just to receive maybe up-to-date questions, maybe better questions with better comments, so you can go for VizLab or Test Prep, whichever you like. And also search online. Just go online, find some good questions. For sure, you would find some good questions there. It is really important for you guys to watch for the tricky questions. Some questions you'll see that it is very easy to answer. Just go for them, answer those questions. But some of the questions, they seem easy, but they are not really easy to answer. Watch for these keywords: never, always. When you see the, for example, never or always, just make sure that you read the question carefully, because usually you are looking at a very tricky question. Another suggestion to just answer the questions easily and fast, it is read it twice and answer it once. You would say that, okay, if you are going to read it twice and answer it once, so it means that you're going to lose time. Just trust me, if you see that a question is tricky or it is not really easy to answer, go ahead, read it again, give you some time just to understand the question better. Here it is for the first time. For example, when I took the exam, it was in 2019 that I took the exam for the first time. Here it was what happened. I saw a very tricky question and I read it once. I thought, okay, I understood the question fairly. I went through the options to see what options do I have to answer. I saw the first option. It seemed okay. It is quite acceptable for the question. And okay, I told myself, okay, it's better to read it again to see if it is good. That is what happened. I went to the question again, I read the question, so I lost some time. I told myself, okay, answer A is not the good choice to go for. I went to choice B. I saw that, okay, maybe it could be applicable for the question as well. And I went back again and read the question again. So you can see what happened. So I lost a lot of time to just understand the question itself. But if you go and understand the question in the very first place, it means that you can save much time. Believe me, guys, if you read it twice and answer it once, you would save lots of time. Look for some keywords and phrases in the question as well. What is that? During the study, during the preparation for the exam itself, you would see some concepts. For example, just as an instance, you would see a question, for example, comes up. In the question, it says that, okay, we want a database which is horizontally scalable and it needs to just have some relational data in it. It would trigger something in your mind. With all of this information that I have, it should be horizontally scalable, globally available, and also there are some relational data in it. So it means that there's only one service. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Maybe you know, maybe you don't know what service it is on the Google Cloud, but there's only one service that provides you all of these combined. So go for that answer. Eliminating the wrong options is a very strong strategy to go for. Well, it means you usually have 4 or 5 different options on a question, so you don't know exactly which option is the correct one. So you usually easily can eliminate 1 or 2 of the options. That is very good. It means that if you eliminate two on a four choices question, it means that you are left only with two. You have to choose one or the second option that are left for you. Sometimes you even can eliminate more. Sometimes you can see false information in the options. For example, let's say that you can eliminate three options of four, so you're good to go. The other option is your answer. Go for that. Okay, considering the practical scenarios as well. If you're in the cloud area, if you have some experience in the cloud area, let's say you're working for a few months in the cloud area, you already have some information, some experience in the cloud area. So do not underestimate your experience. If there's a question, you don't know exactly the answer, but based on your experience, you would say that, okay, if it was in this situation, I would go for this in my work. So do not underestimate your experience. Go for that answer. It is usually the case that it is true. If you see a very, very hard question in the middle of the exam, for example, question number 10 is a very, very hard question to answer. What I usually personally do is that I just click on some random option, let's say option A, just randomly. It means that 1 out of 4, I'm going to get it right. I have 25%, or maybe if it is 5 answers, a chance of 20% of getting it right. So I just answer it. I see that the question is really hard. I have to put too much time on it. Maybe it needs 3 or maybe even 5 minutes. Instead of just putting 5 minutes and losing time for other questions, I just answer it just randomly and mention it in my mind. Or if you are allowed to bring some paper with you, you usually are not allowed to bring papers in the exam. But I have heard that some examination centers give you a paper and a pen. If they provide you with a paper and a pen, write down the number of the question. When you have the 20 minutes of the extra time to review, you can go back and answer the question that you didn't. What is happening if you just do not stay calm? It means that you're going to lose your focus. You didn't answer one question. Okay, it happens. It's just normal. It's an examination. You do not answer all the questions right. It's normal. But it means that if you lose your control, if you lose your focus, you're going to answer wrongly many other questions as well. It is not good, guys. Just stay calm and answer the questions that you can in the first place and review them later. How to register for an exam? It is pretty easy. Maybe you don't know how to register for the exam. There is an official website from Google itself. It is webassessor.com. You go there, you log in, and you choose your exam, the exam that you're going for. In this certification that I just told you, it is Cloud Associate certification. You choose it, and you can choose if you want to do it remotely or on a location, on a specific location. There are many locations around the world. You can choose, I don't know, in your country. If you're lucky, there is one near you. If you're not lucky, maybe you would like to go for the remote exam. My experience with the remote exam was not that really great because you have to install an extension on your computer. Okay, you might like to install the extension on the Google Chrome, maybe not. Okay, that's fine. But on the day of the exam, you have to talk to the examiner as well. They come online. You have to show around the room for them just to make sure that there is nobody else in the room, or you are not cheating on the exam as well. So just keep in mind, if you want to do it remotely, just to have a very calm location. Nobody disturbs you, nobody calls, nobody rings the phone, just it is you. And after you pay the fee, you are set to go. Just keep in mind that you can change the location and also change the time slot for the later time as well. It is a very good practice. Sometimes I am not in feeling of going for the exam. What I usually do is that I just register for exam for 2 weeks, 3 weeks in ahead, and it makes me really go for the study. Thank you very much, guys, for being with me. Just stay tuned. If you have any comments, please comment me. If you like the video, just like it. If you're not subscribed yet, subscribe. I'm going to put more videos on this topic in the future. Just let me know what topics do you like to talk about more. I'm going to make videos about these topics in the future. Another thing that I would like to talk about in the future is that I'm going to make videos, free videos, publicly available on the YouTube to provide you with the information how to go for the exam. Why is that? Yeah, usually as you have seen in the skill boost, for example, or on all the platforms that you to prepare for the exam, they are not free. That's not really good. What I like in the free world, you have to have access to free information. So I would like to do the effort. I would like to prepare everything, all the information that I've got in my mind, bring it for you to make sure that also you guys can be prepared for the exam. Just stay tuned, subscribe, and you will find the videos later.